A national artist unveiled her work now on display at a Bangor hospital. The hope is it will bring comfort to patients and anyone who passes by the pieces. Boston native Keisha Mason donated pieces from her Beneath the Surface collection to St. Joseph Healthcare. Mason says she spent summers in Maine and her coastal experiences have deeply influenced her art. She donated one piece and St. Joseph's Healing Arts Commission says they acquired 2 more of her works thanks to the Healing Arts Fund. Their goal is to help make the hospital environment one that is calming and soothing for patients while they are dealing with a difficult time.
I'm honored to be part of it, and I love St. Joe's and the Healing Arts program whole idea about the whole person and healing the whole person, because we are mind, body, and spirit, and so they really contribute to that. So I'm happy to be part of this collaboration with them.
The Art Commission has many members that volunteer their time, and with the hope that this does make a difference to people on a very personal level.
The hospital says Jane and Kelly Littlefield, who run the Littlefield Gallery of Winter Harbor, played a crucial role in bringing Mason's work to them.